Hi, everybody. Welcome to Motivation Monday. We're going to get started in 2 or 3 minutes. I'm Maurice Williams, a little bit earlier than the session normally starts, but I just wanted to jump on in here and say hi to everybody. Happy Monday. See you in a couple of minutes. Hey there, back again. Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Monday. Very excited to be here. I'm Maurice Williams, and I started Job Morph, and I thought a little while ago that it was a good idea to have a kind of a weekly motivation chat. I found talking to people that sometimes it's easy to stay very focused on other things that are important to you, like your maybe working out or your job, right? Your family responsibilities. But somehow what drifts off the to-do list is this goal to find your dream job. It's and it kind of makes some sense to me why that happens, right? All those other things that are going on in your life, there are structures in place to make sure that you stay focused, right? If you're, family obligations, you have other people telling you, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Some people might say reminding you, some people might say nagging you, right? um the work, obligations, you have meetings, you have accountability to your boss, to your team, to maybe clients, right? All of these people around you keeping you on track and focused on those tasks, right? And many of us have been, pursuing health things, for a long time, so we have like systems that we use to keep ourselves focused and accountable. Maybe you have a trainer, maybe you're a member of a group like a Orange Theory or a Peloton type thing, to keep you focused and accountable, right? So you've put in these sort of systems in place to stay on track towards the goals that you have for your fitness, right? And what falls away somehow is this pursuit of the dream job, right? It's like there's time for everything else, time for family and friends, and taking care of our health and taking care of our work and taking care of the long to-do list of our lives, right? But then somehow at the end of the week, maybe even the end of the month, the reality is not much effort really went into achieving this goal for our career, for the next step of our career. And I wanted to provide you kind of a moment to reflect. That's what this is about, really, this motivation money. It's motivational partly because you're thinking about what you did this past 7 days, what you invested in terms of achieving your goals. Because this is your goal. It's not my goal, right? It's not anybody else's goal. It's your goal. And every minute that you spent on it last week is you investing in your own dream, right? It's you making a choice that says, I take this really seriously. I'm going to put effort and time, my effort, my time into getting this thing that I want. It matters to me, right? And if you look back at the week and you realize that you didn't really put any effort into it, that most of the week slipped by without you really carving out time to achieve this goal that you want, well, this is the moment for reflection, the moment to stop and ask yourself, how do I change going forward? Because and I know that you really cannot get results without activities, right? It's just that simple. You have to do activities to achieve results, right? So if you want interviews, as an example, there has to be activities that lead to interviews. And I'm here to remind you that some activities that are nice activities don't really lead to interviews, right? Like this time together, hope you think it's nice, but it wouldn't lead to an interview. So if I want to have interviews in my week, I have to have activities, not just blah, blah, blah. They have to be actual activities that lead to interviews. And there has to be a level of consistency, right, in those activities. I can't really just, go all at it for one day and then do nothing for 14 days. And then go all at it for 2 days and then do nothing for 14. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to have inconsistent interviews, right? Inconsistent activity yields inconsistent results, right? It's just as simple as that. So ask yourself that really simple question, like those last 7 days, look back from today 1 week back, how much time did I really invest in following up, in networking, and in applications? Because those are the 3 things that I promise you lead to interviews, right? No interviews without submitting applications, no interviews without networking, and no interviews without following up. I mean, look, I have had so many people in my life, clients, friends, family, but the thousands of job seekers I helped over the last 30 years who attempt this job search thing without following up and networking, and just by applying online, hitting the apply button over and over again. And it is just almost impossible to achieve results that way. Happens every once in a while, but there's a lot of effort going into applications to get that one interview. Whereas efforts that include networking and following up will lead to interviews consistently. So the question you're really asking yourself is, like, these last 7 days, how much time, how much effort, how many minutes, how many hours did I devote to doing the 3 things that are most likely to achieve interviews: to following up, to networking, and to applying? And if the answer is 0 to 1, and you're getting enough interviews, then you don't have to do anything more, right? If the answer is 70 and you're not getting enough interviews, then you definitely need somebody to help you, because something is wrong. Because that much activity and not getting any results, it makes me kind of ask myself, well, is it the right resume? Is it the right cover letter? Is it the right application process that we're doing? Are they applying to the right jobs? Most of the time, what I really discover is that, if you want to generate more interviews, you have to generate more activity, right? Like, the things are related. So if the 1 hour a week isn't really working for you, bump it up to 2. See what happens. If the 4 isn't working for you, bump it up to 6. See what happens, right? The idea here is to figure out for you, how much activity do you need to create the interview cadence that you want? Because these are just directly related. There's no real mystery here. The actions get the results. There really is no mystery. Now, sometimes people just don't like the results in relation to the actions. Like, I'm going to tell you something. I don't like how I have to work out for more than 5 minutes to get results. I want it to be like I can work out for 5 minutes and get results, right? I don't like that I have to watch my diet for 2 whole weeks to see results. Right? I want it to be that I can just eat a good healthy meal one day or one meal and have results. Of course, we all are like that, and I'm like that too. But we have to kind of be realistic, right? And we have to understand that in order to get the results that we want, it does require a certain amount of time and effort. And part of the mystery is figuring out for ourselves, what is that ratio? How many hours of applications, following up, and networking do I have to do to generate the number of interviews that I want? What's my formula? And here is the thing. I wish I could tell you that there is a single formula that applies to every single person across the country at every single level, doing every different function. I mean, even if I start to say that to you, you think to yourself, that makes no sense. Of course, it would be different if somebody was targeting just remote jobs versus somebody who's targeting administrative assistant jobs in their local zip code. Right? Of course, it would be different, the ratio. Of course, it would be different if somebody was targeting C-level jobs. There's only one in each company, and some companies don't even have that executive, right? In some companies, there isn't even a CFO or a CIO or a CPO, right? Or a CMO. They're not big enough for that. So, it's a much smaller than somebody targeting, let's say, account executive jobs in the education sector, right? A lot more jobs there than C-level jobs. So the formula for each and every person is very different. The key is to sort of figuring out what your formula is and then, applying it and seeing the result that you're getting. And then just doing that over and over and over again. It really is probably sometimes we can make this whole process very complicated. And every once in a while, it's probably a good idea to simplify it. To simplify it. Now, one thing I can tell you working with so many people is that this helps for a lot of people to stay focused. This sort of check-in once a week where somebody says, "What have you been doing these last 7 days? And are you doing what you need to do so you can get the results you want? And do you need additional support? Do you need additional time? Do you need to kind of reformulate, recalibrate a little bit in your mind where your time is going?" So like that you're putting in a lot of time, but it's not on things that yield interviews. It's on other activities, but not enough time on the things that yield interviews. Right. So it's this idea of just taking a moment and reflecting about those 7 days and making a plan, right, for what's going to be different these next 7 days. Right. And maybe that takes you 5-10 minutes after this is over to sit down and make that plan for yourself of the next 7 days. And then it's really a matter, I find, of checking in with yourself each day. Right. I really find that in my own life, unless I put in checkpoints daily to kind of hold myself accountable, that I don't really get too far. So if I'm trying to achieve a goal, like launch this platform that we just launched, I have to have weekly goals for myself and daily check-ins for myself. It's not enough to do this once a week check-in. I need to have those daily check-ins as well. Right? And sometimes what you discover is that you're falling a little behind, and so you kind of double up the efforts the next day. Right? Sometimes you discover that you can't really achieve your weekly goal and that you need to reset the goal for each week. It really is a part of like holding ourselves accountable to also be reviewing our plans. I am sharing with you and reminding you of things that you all know because you're successful professionals. That's who tends to come to these job morph sessions. And you've applied these ideas to many other things in your lives. That's how you finished college. That's how you finished your graduate degree. That's how you passed the bar. That's how you were successful in your projects at work. That's how you've been successful in other personal projects, right? These are principles that you have been doing in many, many, many areas in your life. It's just about applying them to this area. Right? It's just now kind of thinking, okay, these things that worked for me, these methods that work for me, I'm going to put them to work in this area of my life because, they worked in other areas. They're more than likely to work in this area as well. You guys have a fantastic week ahead. I really wish you all but success. And welcome to anyone who's new. Welcome to all the new, the repeats, and have a great week ahead. Take care, everybody.